Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and in just a moment we're going to be playing some 10NL Snap for around 20 minutes or so. Just going to limit my videos to half an hour this month. April, I'm planning on being a very big month in terms of volume. I'm going to put a ton of volume in on Triple Eight, decent volume in on Sky 2 hopefully, but probably more Triple Eight because by the end of the month I want to have a decent sample size, decent results, and perhaps consider beginning offering coaching and I'll rolling some coaching out again to players who are struggling to beat 2NL, 5NL, 10NL. Anyone playing higher, I'm not going to be a good fit for. But if you're not beating those games, I probably will be a good fit for you. So that's the goal for this month. Make some money, get a good sample in my database, and to hopefully have it been a good looking winning one. Obviously, if we get to the end of the month and my win rates are around 2 big blinds 100, then I'm in no fit state to offer that coaching and I won't do it. I'm very confident that I will be though. I've had a bit of a problem. On Saturday, I decided to try and get a snide boxing stream for the Povetkin White fight, and a few weird things happened to my computer afterwards. I did a factory reset yesterday. Thought I'd saved my database so I could re-import it. Fuck that up. So we're starting from scratch with a new database, which is unfortunate because I had thousands of hands on several players. I have to build that up again, so that's annoying. I mean, I could ask Edge Triple Eight to send me all the hands again, but their support isn't that great. And to be fair, my game has changed quite a bit from like the start of March when I started coming back to now. So actually, I'm interested in looking at what my stats look like over at a fresh 50, 60, 70, 80k hands and not have those first few hands in it because I'm doing quite a few things differently to what I was at the start of the month. Not a lot of things, but enough things where it'll make a difference to how my database looks. So I'm not too bothered I've lost them. The only reason I'm annoyed is because I've lost hands on regulars that would have been handy to have for taking lines against them. But we can live with that. And I'm also planning on doing a bit of blogging in the Facebook group. Maybe not every day. I would listen to some mental game stuff because I played some 50NL towards the end of last month and I found out my mental game wasn't up to it. And a lot of the stuff I've read and listened to has advocated doing a lot of writing after sessions or at the end of days. So I'm not going to promise to do that every day, but I'm going to try and do it quite a lot. So if you're not in the Facebook group and you're interested in that, then please do join that. The link to the Facebook group can be found beneath the video. Please do hit the like and share and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit the little bell to get notifications. I'm hoping to churn out quite a few videos. Going to be lots of different things: live play, hand reviews, hopefully with some pals, database reviews when we get to a certain amount of hands. So I'm going to have a busy week, a busy month, not only at the tables but also on the channel. So please do hit that subscribe button and hit the like if you like the sort of thing I do. We're going to start now. I'm playing 3 tables usually, but for now we're just playing 2 tables because the reason I'm playing 3 tables is because I believe that I don't steal enough when I do this because I just see a hand that I don't really want to play and just fast forward to the next hand to get more volume. I don't want to be doing that. I want to be like waiting until it's on me in every hand, and then if I have a steal opportunity, take it, etc. I don't want to be like autopilot and rushing through. So when I have 3 tables, I have them cascaded across the screen, and I can only see 1 table at a time. So therefore, the table doesn't pop up until the action's on me. So hopefully, I'll be playing slightly wider ranges, certainly from late position, small blind, etc., than I have been, which will hopefully help improve my win rate and also get my stats to where I want them to be, because I have been a little bit nitty in March. Lovely opportunity straight off the bat here with the 2 kings. Sadly, we only take down the pot pre-flop, which is never a bad result, I suppose. I mean, with kings, you always want a little bit more action, but we'll take it. We'll take what we can get. Here, I think it's a board we want to bet, and it's a good board for our actual hand, and it's a decent board for our range too. We need check calls on the 9. I'm not going to bet again. I think the 9 fits in nicely with a lot of his check calling range. Do not want to be raised at this point. We have a pair and a flush draw. It's a lot of equity to bet and then maybe have to consider folding to a raise. And now the question is, do we want to bluff this river? I think we probably do. I think he bets with the straight. Do we going to overbet, just try and make him fold all his 2 pairs, etc. Don't think he has a set. I think we find out about a set before now. Unless he's rivered a set possibly, or rivered a turn. Wow, he goes for the raise. Surprising. Fair play to him. He's going to win this pot. My read on this pool is that most players would not check a straight there on the river. They just, especially when the turn's going check, I think they just bet because they're scared to check it through again. So, fair play to him. What are we going to do here? Doesn't look, well, we don't know about this guy, but this guy's a pretty passive player. We don't expect to get squeezed too often by him. If he c-bets here, we're going to raise, I think. He c-bets pretty high frequency. And we have a pretty good draw. Backdoor diamonds too. And I hope this guy doesn't wake up, because we'll be in big trouble if he does. He just calls, which is quite alarming. So when he just calls here, I think he's trapping a hell of a lot of the time. I'm not going to barrel on this king. I just think he's going to have a very, very, very strong hand. An awful lot of the time. And, I mean, we hope this just goes check on the river, but I'm not expecting it. No. He bets and we are just done. I mean, when he just like, when someone check cold calls a bet and a 3-bet, they just have to be super strong. Unless they're just a terrible player, of course. I mean, he could just be a terrible player. We don't know yet. That just like has second pair there and decides not to fold it. But if he is that guy, then fair play to him. Ace jack off. Do I want to 4-bet this time? We're not going to flat with it. Do I want to 4-bet it? Don't know enough about this guy yet, so we'll just take the easy route for the time being. Bet, got a pretty miserable hand to defend versus a 3-bet. Don't want to call here. Again, don't know anywhere near enough about this guy. Just gonna let the ace jack go. If I'm going to continue there, I'm going to continue the 4-bet, but I do not want to start 4-betting ace jack off versus complete unknowns. And we've opened under the gun and they've snap raised middle position. This is the problem with my database now because I've lost all those hands. I mean, I didn't recognise that guy's name, but, you know, maybe I had 1,000 hands on him in my last database. Probably not if I didn't recognise his name. Yeah, I'm a big respecter of 3-bets in these games because, you know, the pool 3-bets 5.5% or so. So when I get 3-bet, I have no real problem folding some pretty strong hands, especially against unknown players when it's not like steal versus re-steal spots. And are we getting blown off equity? Probably. Are we getting blown off good equity enough times to worry about it? Probably not. You've probably just got a better hand than ace jack most of the time when they 3-bet from middle position. I'm going to wind this session up at the end of the video. We're not going to start looking at my database yet, though. I played around 1,000 hands this morning. Didn't go particularly well. In fact, it went pretty badly. I lost around 2.5 buy-ins, I think it was. This session's been a little bit better. We're winning this session at the moment. But we're not going to be looking at any holder manager stuff until we have at least 10,000 hands in the bag, which should be just after the weekend if I grind as hard as I intend to. No intention of playing on Sky too much this week. It's UCops week, and the cash games haven't looked good, and no fucking interest in playing too many tournaments. I played a couple of tournaments, ran deep in the mini last night. I think I finished in the top 20 of that. Ran pretty shitty towards the end, like running at the top of people's ranges. And getting busted. I mean, he shouldn't have much deuce X in this position, but I mean, I think we just had the best hand here with the threes. It's how do we want to proceed? And I think we just want to block this river. I'm not folding if he raises. If he's got a 7 or if he's got a deuce, then good for him. Take it down. Not an ideal run up for the kings, but again, I think we can safely bet fold. Having a king of diamonds is handy. Don't think he's going to turn a pair into a bluff here. If he raises, I think he's just going to have better than 2 kings. Ace 8. Okay. Nice answer, I guess. What did this dude have when we had the 3s? Ace 9. It's an interesting c-bet. Just totally giving up here with the 10-7. Once the ace and the diamond both come on the turn. Pocket 6s, not going to c-bet into 2 players. It'd be a mandatory c-bet versus 1 on a board that is pretty good. Not into 2 opponents. I just don't think we're getting enough folds to justify betting. River a flush might be good. If it checks through, I think we might win here. Really not a fan of people defending 10-4 suited. I mean, I understand it's probably okay against my range, but in a raked environment, I think in the tournament, absolutely mandatory call. I think in a relatively high rake environment, which, you know, Microstakes cash is, I mean, I think it's going to be hard to make money. You're out of position with 10-4 in a raked environment. It's not for me. Somebody wants to tell me it's fine, then I'll have the conversation, but I'm going to take quite a bit of convincing. I'm going to be 4-betting our queens here, and I don't think we're going to be folding them against someone who looks like they are very aggressive over a very small sample. Don't think there's any folding here. If he's got us, he's got us. That's a very, very, very pleasant flop. Sadly, he just turbo folds, which is a shame. I read something last night. Someone posted to the Discord group, the Sky Discord group, that someone from Upswing, I think it was Mike Brady, had put a tweet out saying that basically in Microstakes high rake environments that we shouldn't really, well, basically playing 4-bet or fold when out of position versus 3 bets probably in a raked environment is better, probably has higher EV than having some flats, just like never flatting and just either 4-betting or folding. It's a depressing state of affairs if true. But I mean, I don't do a lot of flying out of position because I kind of feel it's not good. And having someone as respected as Mike Brady kind of saying a similar thing to me, similar thing to what I've been thinking for a while, it just only helps me reinforce my view that we do not want to be flatting out of position versus 3 bets. I mean, obviously, if the 3 bet's tiny then you don't have a lot of choice. But you know, in spots where I don't know, you make it 2.5x or 2x, and someone makes it 8x, I think there probably shouldn't be an awful lot of flatting there. Maybe once in a while if you want to throw a trap in, but I think like flatting to set man or whatever's not good. We're going to check back this river if he allows us to. Didn't like the 5 much, chop it up. Jack off his hand. That's sometimes 3-bet from the button against people who open wide, but that guy looked like he was pretty tight over a small sample. Not going to open the 7-8 into a very aggressive looking player in the big blind. And that's something that I like to think I do pretty well in terms of like just not like, right, I'm going to open it's a button, so I'm opening. If I think there's like players in the blind who are just going to play well or make life difficult for me, I'm quite happy just like lobbing off the bottom parts of my range and just taking the easier route. I don't like being raised on dry boards, but clearly our hands are way too strong to fold, and we're not folding any turn. Once we check call, the reason we're just calling rather than jamming is to allow him to keep his bluffs in. There's going to be no folding of our hand. If he has like pocket fours or pocket deuces, then good for him. I mean, now we just put the rest in because he's committed half of his stack to his turn bet. He has ace queen, which is, again, pretty interesting line to take. It's a great turn card for him to continue barreling on, but I'm not convinced by his flop raise. I'm yet to be involved. I'm not convinced that's a good line to take. Not convinced at all. Still not betting here. We have pair and a flush draw. Betting, leading out. We're not going to get a bet hand to fold. We might get raised, which would stink. And we have a very comfortable check call. Again, this guy looks like he might be aggressive. Not going to risk getting squeezed. We river a flush. A very easy bet now. Why does somebody always fucking ring me? That's a number that I do not recognise. That will not be getting answered. Get call over here, which is nice. We're going to be folding over here. This would be a pretty decent squeeze opportunity where this guy's such a fucking nit. And I'm not necessarily saying that as a derogatory comment because I'm a fucking nit, without question. But yeah, if you're stats are 20/12, 20/11, 20/whatever, 20/ lower than 13. If I 3-bet you, you better look out because I'm not going to have a bad hand. That's a flop we can work with. And that bet, I'd like more money to go into the street if possible. I mean, I think he's just going to fold a lot, but if he is at anywhere near the top of his range, then let's start building the big pot. Not really one for slow playing 2-pair plus. It's not really something that I do too often, unless I have the board super locked down. But if I've got a strong hand, but I do not have the board like completely crushed, then I'm normally just going to raise and just get the clean value while it's there. Again, I could open this sometimes, but we've got two aggressive looking players, one on the button, one on the big blind. So we will not be opening. 12/6 over a meaningless sample. He's going to get 3-bet if he opens. This wouldn't be an open against some players, but against this player, it's going to be an open. I mean, again, it's ludicrously small sample size. Very good chance he's not a 10/5, but it's all we have to deal with at the moment. So we'll just take the information for what it's worth at the time and not make any huge adjustments to it. So he doesn't c-bet this board. In fact, he snap checks it. We're going to have a little bet. We're going to have another little bet. And if he calls again, then we are going to probably check back rivers. He just folds. Not obvious fish at the table, so we won't open the 10. 10 jack off is one of those hands that it's not always an open for me. It's an open if it looks like a soft table. If it doesn't look like there's any soft spots at the table, then I will almost always fold it. It's a mandatory open from middle position, but from under the gun, it requires a soft spot at the table. Let's flop a set. Okay. Let's not bother. Didn't want to flop a set anyway. Sets are overrated. Tell you what is overrated. This bet size. This shouldn't be a thing in a multi-way pot. Just should not be a thing. I mean, we can't fold, but don't like the situation. I mean, 3 big blinds into a 12 big blind pot multi-way. Not for me, Gov. I mean, it feels like we're getting milked here. It feels like he's got aces or kings that are just like betting small for value, or maybe he's got a queen and he just doesn't like money. Could be 3-betting the ace jack against someone who looks hyper aggressive. Well, not hyper, but by these games, 27-24 is very aggressive for these games. It's very normal for higher stakes games. Totally get that. But for 10-L snap, 28-24, he is the man. He is the man who is putting everybody to the test. With deep here, so we're going to make a slightly larger 3-bet. Only 1 big blind more than I would usually make it, but are these things add up in the long term? Had we been 100 blinds deep, I would just have made that 10. Got to have a big tagging session in Hold'em Manager at some point. Get all these players retagged. I absolutely adore having people colour tagged. It just makes it so much easier when you're at a table and should I open this, should I not open it? When the majority of the players aren't tagged, then you've got to be looking around and like, oh, we're losing. When you've got players tagged, then all of a sudden everything just happens more naturally. I just play at a better pace. There's more flow to what I'm doing. I think we can So this is a guy that I don't recognise, but he can get the not often used pink tag, which is pretty damn loose aggressive. Oh, fuck, I did not mean to cold call that fucking... Oh, but we flopped to set. That was a mistake. I absolutely did not mean to do that. I only saw the 2.5x. I thought we were just set mining. Now we've flopped to set on a very dynamic board where he can't have... There's no way he has a beat here. He just doesn't have pocket sevens or whatever the fuck his straight is, 8-5. But he might have a hard time folding an overpair. No, he doesn't. Maybe he just didn't have an overpair. That was a mistake that worked out for us, so we'll take that, because that was absolutely not a call. I mean, it might be in your book, but it's not a call in my book. Heads up, it would be a call if we raise any 3-bet and we're that deep, then there's just no folding pocket pairs. Because we just win so much when we cooler them with a set and they have something worse than a set that's pretty good. Pretty dry flop, pretty easy c-bet. Very easy fold. Opening this because of this guy on the button who's so far, again, ridiculous sample size, but well, it means nothing. But got this guy in the big blind who's clearly just some weak, tight loser. Probably tag this guy as orange. We're about to tag him as orange anyway, then he limps under the gun, so that makes it a very, very easy orange tag, which is my tag for tight, passive, bad regular. Someone's playing 33-13. I think they can happily earn their green tag. Small sample, but still. Big gap between the VP and PFR is usually an indication that we're not looking at an especially talented player. This board had one club on it, I think we'd consider putting it into a check raising range, but on this board, which shouldn't really favour the under the gun opener, but no club, we'll get out of the way. Just not enough good barrel cards for us there. We're kind of relying on like an 8 or a queen coming, whereas if there's a club on the board, there's 9 extra cards on the turn we can continue being aggressive with, should we want to. This would be a call on the button sometimes. I think it still will be because of this guy in the big blind. Super unlikely to get squeezed. This guy isn't going to make life too difficult for us, and we want to try and make some good hands in position against a big blind that's clearly a recreational player. I mean, went out of there, but I'm going to see. I'm going to watch the hand on my other screen. I just donk folded. Because I do like to know what these like recreational players, how they're building their donk betting ranges wherever possible. Because it's a very exploitable thing to do. And I'm imagining that they're not going to have very good ranges for doing it. So therefore, the sooner we establish how they're building their donk betting ranges, the sooner we can absolutely abuse them for it. We flop the nuts here. I'm actually going to go with a small overbet. Nuts hands are going to want to continue here versus this sizing. do get the continue from this regular. And there's no reason to slow down. He goes with the min raise. I mean, we're just calling and not folding rivers. I don't care that the board's paired. I mean, it's unfortunate that the board's paired, but there's just no folding, of course. He's going to jam, we're going to call, and we're hopefully going to win. He doesn't jam. I mean, we just do. And if he's played a full house super cute, then good for him. Absolutely no fucking clue what he was up to there. Absolutely no fucking clue whatsoever what his game was. He check calls an overbet, then he check raises like a turn bomb, then just check folds the river. You should change your name to Badwin, sir, not Goodwin, because there was fuck all good about that. Anyways, we are now at the 30, well, gone past the 30-minute mark. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. There'll be another video probably coming tomorrow, I think, depending on what time I get up, what time I watch. So I'm going for my second COVID jab tomorrow. So I'm hoping that isn't going to fuck me up for the weekend, because last time I had the COVID jab, and I do encourage you to get one. The students available to you. But I had a pretty damn sore arm for a couple of days and didn't feel too great. But it's obviously something I'm willing to go through to protect myself and others from this virus and try and get us all back to something approaching fucking normality. So yeah, I'm hoping it's not going to interrupt with my volume plans. I'm really hoping to get, 50k hands minimum in this month, and that is the minimum, hopefully more. But the weekend could be a slow burner if I have a bad reaction to the jab. So take care, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this. If there's not a video tomorrow, have a fantastic weekend. And yeah, we'll see you all soon. Take care, and oh, fuck it, we'll play this hand deep. Shouldn't be calling here. We talked about the Mike Brady thing, but it's a very small 3-bet, and we are very deep. So it could be interesting. No, it's not going to be interesting. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely weekend, and bye-bye for now.